Okay guys, this will be my final build for the left, right, and center channel speakers that we did. These ended up being extremely nice. They sound very, very clean, and I cannot believe the amount of bass that you will get out of two 6.5-inch drivers with, this cabinet dimensions, with, everything else that's been put inside of them to deaden the sound and dampen the sound. And the two front ports, it's unbelievable the amount of bass. I was completely shocked. One of the really cool things is that this front cover or baffle is actually a 1/8 inch thick of black acrylic. The shine is meant, I wanted to get something on the front there to shine, to represent, the shine off of the plasma that you will get. It matches really good, and it all looks a lot better than it did with just wood. The acrylic fabrication shop that I had do the work had to go through a good 20 different pieces of acrylic, not to mention how many cardboard pieces that they were practicing on, because they had to make 6 holes, and I didn't want to have it see any kind of gaps between the speaker and the acrylic. I didn't want to see a big wood gap here where it would look terrible. I didn't want to try it myself either, because me doing hole saws and or rotozip or router, trying to make it all perfect, I went through so many sheets, not to mention the frustration, and it would have been brutal. So I just had a fabrication shop do it for me, acrylic fabrication shop do it for me, and at the end of the day they were pretty pissed off because of what they quoted me was not exactly enough. But hey, they quoted me, so I made them stick to their quote. The paint job is made by Rust-Oleum. It has 3 coats of, it's called a hammered gloss black. It's got like a bumpy, rough texture to it. If you are able to adjust your YouTube settings to 1080p, these are all shot in 1080p, and you might be able to pick up the texture on it and see what I'm talking about. But it helped with the seams. There's a seam right here for the front baffle wood piece, and with that texture there, it helps it so that you can't actually see all the seams around the whole thing. That helps out a lot. Looks a lot more pro at the end of the day. Now it'd be kind of pointless to put these on with some sound, to play something loud. All it's gonna do is just gonna rattle the microphone in the camera and or sound terrible on your computer speakers. So you have to listen to them live or listen to them in person, because they sound unbelievably great. I went back to the electronics store, listened to the ones that I really wanted back when before I was going to do these by myself or build these by myself. There were some B&W speakers that were a little longer and taller than these, and they were like 3 times the cost. That's the only thing I actually found that would fit up here, and I liked the sound out of them when I was doing them, and those are the ones that I liked. But I'm so glad that I actually did not go through with those, because I went back there, listened to those again just for the fun of it, and they did not sound anywhere near as good as these did. And I'm not just saying that because I built these, because I brought the wife with me, and she's like, they're more money, they're bigger, and they don't sound as good. So why is that? And that's just the good thing about doing it yourself. You can actually pick it the way you want it to look, and make everything match and everything else like that. So it's great experience. Another really cool key thing that I had to do was, these are on an angle because of how high they are. As you can see, the doorway here, that's 7 feet tall, and with the 60 plasma, with the air gap, you need above the plasma to get some heat out of it. I had to keep that 4.5 inch space there, but the angle in the back is just a 2x4 cut in half, so it's an inch and 3/4 hanging up on the back, angled down to hit the couch. Now if I was smart, or if I thought about this beforehand, I would have let these lay flat, but then make this front baffle come out farther on the top and have it angled as is. So it would lay flat, and this whole front piece would be tilted out a little bit more, and everything would be pointing down, but it would lay flat. Again, that's an afterthought. That's something I didn't think of when I had these up here after I did my crossover for the first test run to see if I did the crossovers right and listen to them. If I stand it up like this, and I'm 6 feet tall, they sounded better than if I was sitting down on the couch, because they had to bounce off the ceiling and the wall and hit my ear after that. But if I have them pointing like this while I'm sitting with that angle, they sound excellent just sitting down watching TV, movies, Blu-rays, especially video games. So that's one of the things that I kind of afterthought and would have done differently if I had another $100 for some wood and all the time that it takes me to do it. So other than that, if you guys have questions, let me know. But again, it's useless to play any kind of music out of them. And if you have any questions about the acrylic or the paint job or whatever, it was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I didn't have to spend 3 times as much as these cost to get me the ones that I liked. So thanks a lot for following me on the build. Thanks a lot for all your comments, and again, if you have any questions, let me know.